1 month ago, I made a video that I planned out. It was about my mental health struggles, my anxiety, panic attacks, my hypochondria, how the internet exacerbates my hypochondria. And I had this bright idea when I was taking a shower in the middle of some time off from work. And I ran to my computer and I wrote it all out, and I spent hours recording it. And I probably spent like 6 hours or more editing it in the classic broke the interweb style that I've always used on my channel. And I played it back a bunch of times, as one does, and it wasn't good. I didn't enjoy watching it. I would have clicked off right at the beginning, and I was like, how is anybody else gonna appreciate this if I don't even like it? So I decided, after all those hours of editing, I can't call this done. There's something that's not right, so I'm gonna leave it alone. In that video, I talk about how my worst anxiety happened. It started a year ago, last summer of 2021, and that was the summer when my dog got sick. It was this acute thing, and he was better within a couple days. But for some reason, this particular time he got sick really messed me up very badly. While he was walking around the house, clearly sick, before we took him to the emergency vet, I felt like there was nothing I could do to save him or to help him, and he was in so much pain, and I felt just so scared that I was going to lose him at such a young age. And so I started having these really severe panic attacks, which I've never had before. And I had them many, many times a day. And I had like an online therapist at the time, and he was like, what are you thinking when you have the panic attacks, so we can work it out? And I was like, not really anything. They're just happening. And so nobody could really help. And I just had to get through it, and it took quite a while for me to get through it. After that, I developed something called DPDR, depersonalization, derealization. It's basically when like you feel numb all the time and you don't feel like you even exist, and it's a very strange feeling. I had never experienced that before either. It also affects your vision, or the way you process vision. So I was afraid I had some kind of visual problem, or maybe like a brain tumor, and things really spun out of control, and I was never not freaking out about something. Even though my dog was better, a couple days after this all started, I couldn't stop having panic attacks. My body couldn't move past that. So, I mean, suffice it to say, I was seriously struggling. In the next couple months, I learned a lot more about DPDR specifically, because that was the most obvious physical anxiety symptom that I was experiencing, and I noticed it came in waves. So like 2 months after it came on the first time, it went away, and I was like, oh my God, I'm fine. If it can go away, it wasn't a brain tumor. It wasn't I don't have to be afraid to go to the doctor and find out I'm dying. And then it came back, and I was like, oh no. But I was much better prepared this time around. It came back for the third time last month, and this was right after a pretty tough event in my family. My grandfather died, and I went and stayed with some family out of town, and it was really stressful for everybody. But when I came back, I had taken time off work to deal with that, and I felt like I was coming back to work and saying, hey guys, I'm like exhausted. I need more time now to just rest. And I felt like I was being, disappointing at work. And so I took a week off, and I told myself, we're going to use this week to do something creative. Maybe you'll make a YouTube video. That would be awesome. I actually built half a Lego set, and I took this time-lapse video of it, and I was like, this will be a part of the video somehow. Like, for the boring parts, I'll cut in some footage of me building this Lego set, because it's interesting. And after the first week off, I realized I spent that whole week recovering, and I hadn't done anything really that was creative. So instead of going back to work, I asked for 3 more days. I was too scared to ask for a week. I don't think anyone would have said no, but I felt guilty. So in those 3 days, that's when I had the idea, I'm going to make a video about my mental health struggles. And there's even a part of that video where I cut in as the editor, and I say like, right, I didn't choose to go on antidepressants or anti-anxiety meds, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't. They work for lots of people, and I have my dog next to me, and we're all cuddly, and I'm in my comfy clothes to edit. And this video, like, there's nothing that I can point to and say this is what's wrong with it, but it wasn't ready to leave my computer, and I couldn't explain why. So I said, I'm gonna sit on this, and we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll think of something. A month later, which was yesterday, so much has happened in my life that I could have absolutely never predicted. It's absolutely wild to think how much I've been through, and my household has been through. At the beginning of June, my cat got hit by a car, my 1-year-old cat. And we got a call from a sheriff who saw it happen and brought him to the SPCA, and they had him on life support, and it sounded really bad, and it didn't sound like he was going to make it. And we put down $10,000 deposit to see what they could do to save him. And he came home with a feeding tube a couple days later. 2 days after that, we noticed my dog was pretty sick, and he wasn't recovering on his own. So we had to take him to the same emergency vet, and that was like close to another $10,000. And the cat was covered under pet insurance, which I recommend. The dog was not, because he had a chronic condition. What I didn't see coming was this was it for my dog. I didn't see that coming at all. So I mentioned earlier how in summer of 2021, that panic disorder happened to me because I was imagining, oh my God, I might lose my dog. What if I lost my dog? I don't know what I would do. It's my best friend in this planet. Like, we are tied. I can't lose him. It's not time. He's not even very old. It makes no sense. And he's been in other videos of mine. You might have seen him. And this time, right after we got our cat home from being hit by a car, he's fine now, by the way, which is the one good thing I can say about all this. He is doing super well. He's napping in the corner right now. He heard me talk about him. Hi. But unfortunately, when we brought my dog in to the vet, we found out he had kidney failure. And that was shocking, because in February of this year, he was diagnosed with early stage chronic kidney disease, but that's supposed to mean you've still got a couple years left. Put him on a special diet, very special regimen, and special supplements, and we did all that. We were super careful, seemed to be working. I never in a million years would have thought that after a diagnosis of early stage chronic kidney disease, he would have kidney failure within 4 months. And that was, I was really scared that I was going to be like a year ago, but times 100, because now it's actually happening. And I don't remember doing anything to work through those feelings and get ready for this. So this isn't going to be good for anybody. How am I going to be there for him? Well, he is suffering. So we brought him home. We knew there was nothing more they could do. We even let them keep him an extra day, which was another like several $1,000s. I was actually shopping for a house in my hometown 3 years running. I can't buy a house anymore. My credit sucks now because of all this. But that's absolutely beside the point. Not important at all, considering everything else is going on. We brought the dog home, tried to make him comfortable. Some well-meaning friends reached out to me and said, oh, my dog, he was end-stage kidney failure, but he bounced back. And I didn't want to, say, oh, leave me alone, you don't get it. But this guy was not eating anymore. And that's sort of a sign, he had stopped eating in the hospital, and he made it pretty clear he's never going to eat again. This is the end. It's time to get ready. And if I could help it, I didn't want to have to put him down on my timeline. I would rather, support him through his timeline and see, and of course, if things got terrible and he was just suffering all day, every day, and there were no good moments left, of course, I would have to make that decision. But I can say that in his last week at home, there was always some joy in every single day we had together. And I'm so grateful for that. I don't know how I'm okay right now, to be honest, because, like I said, this was the trigger for me. And then it just happened. It really happened. And in a strange way, I felt this sense of peace, while it was happening in the week that we had left. I don't have, videos of that week, but I have lots of pictures. And there was a day where, he was laying on a bed right there, and I sat on the floor next to him, and we held paws, and in one hand I had his hand, and in the other hand I started building the other half of my Lego set, and he was super fascinated, and he watched the whole thing, and I was like, this is the exact kind of moment that, I'm never going to forget. This is why I'm super glad that we're still both here. And we really tried to make every single moment count with him for the last week he was here, and then just a week after he came home, he died at home in our bedroom. And we realized about an hour after that happened, it was exactly 4 years in like 2 minutes after our house fire started. And if you don't know the house fire story, in 2018, June 14th, our apartment burned down. And that morning, my dog, Kofi, same dog, had begged me to take him in the car. Judson was going to drop me off at work, and we usually told Kofi no because, like, I just got all his fur off me. He's a shedder. It was a petty reason, but I was usually like, sorry, bud. I'll see you when I get home. But this day, he was just oddly insistent. And I was like, you know what? I don't know why, but he really wants to come today, so I guess we can take him. And while we were on the drive, I guess, by the time Judson and Kofi got home, the house was already completely engulfed in flames. The cats had been able to get out through a high-up window, but Kofi could have never gone up there. So Kofi saved his own life that day. And realizing that he died exactly 4 years, like literally 4 years in 2 minutes, like I did feel compelled to look up smoke inhalation timelines, and it takes 2 minutes to 10 minutes to die of smoke inhalation in a fire. And it just feels like it's the exact minute he would have died 4 years ago if he hadn't come in the car with us. And to whoever gave us the 4 extra years, I'm really happy. I'm really grateful. They were the best 4 years that they were the best years we've ever had together. And I'm just, I don't know. It feels weird that I'm coping, right? Because mathematically, you put all this stuff together, and I shouldn't be okay. I shouldn't feel okay right now. But the moment he went, I was like, I know where you're going. I have faith. I believe there's an afterlife. And I was like, I have some good friends I'm pretty sure came to pick you up. I have one friend who died of kidney failure in 2018, a couple months after my fire, and she was obsessed with my dog. And I was like, I know who's coming to get you when it's your time. You're going to have so much fun together. And I have a strong faith. Like, there's zero doubt in my mind that they're hanging out right now. And that gave me some comfort, but also, like, the understanding that death comes for us all. And I had no really prior exposure to this, except that 2 months prior, I did watch my grandfather die in the hospital, but that was under a very sterilized medical setting with a lot of morphine and a lot of, it was just doctors or nurses waiting outside the room for him to flatline so they could come and record the time of death, and the whole thing was just very sterilized. And that's sort of, if we do see death, I feel like it usually looks like that. But what we saw at home was not like that at all. And people will often warn you, you should always euthanize your pet, like, as soon as you know that it's fatal, because death is so ugly actually in nature when you just do it unassisted, when you just let it happen. But also, like, if you go to hospice because you're terminal, you die when it's your time to die. And I wanted to kind of make this place a hospice for him, and I think we did that. I think we did a good job at that. We were extremely dedicated to it. We spent our whole days. We were working from home, but, like, every chance we got to shift him, make him comfortable, go sit him in the sun, lay with him, any opportunity we got to, comfort him, we took it. And if you're ever faced with that decision, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I saw this amazing video, and I really don't think I could have gotten through this at all without this video by this woman. I think her name is Pippi. I will post a link in the description to her video. I don't recommend you watch it if you're not in the right headspace to watch it, but this was a video that, like, I needed because I was going through it. And she went through each day after her dog stopped eating to the day he died naturally, about 5-6 days later, just like Kofi. And then at the end, she kind of very graphically describes what it looked like to watch him die, and I hit pause on that and decided I'm not going to watch that part until everything is over, because I can't handle that. I don't want to freak myself out. Like, her dog did certain things in his last minutes, and I didn't want to have to think about my dog going through that. And it was a little different with my dog, but watching someone die is strange. There's noises they make, there's motions they do, and you just have to trust that, like, this is all, it's going to be over soon, and he is going to be in a much, much, much better kind of body than he is now. His body was failing him, and it was so obvious. And I was like, I know you got to get out of that thing. I'm going to help you until it's time to get out of that thing. But the second he got out of that body, I was like, man, you didn't deserve to suffer for that long, but you also have so much future left. Like, we're gonna see each other later. And I think that's really what kept me going. I went to see my regular doctor, I think yesterday, maybe 2 days ago, and she was like, that sounds like a lot. How are you coping? And I was like, I guess, I don't know what to call it. Mindfulness? I'm just, you know what helped? My fear a year ago that caused my panic disorder was that he was gonna die. Like, maybe he would die. Knowing he was going to die, there was nothing to be afraid of anymore. We actually sat together and listened to Don't Fear the Reaper a million times in a row because it was the first time I read the lyrics, and the background lyrics to that song are the ones that you don't really hear when you're just listening to, you know, a song that gets played so freaking often. But reading the background lyrics just broke me. And I cried and I cried and I cried, and I was like, yeah, this is it. Like, this redefine happiness is a line that gets repeated a lot in that song. And I think it's because, of course, I jumped into, you know, how, what's his name, Buck Dharma wrote that song, how he came up with the lyrics, and he said that those lyrics just kind of wrote themselves. And I kind of feel like maybe they were a little divinely inspired. Like, we think death is just sad. Death is sad, period. There's no nuance to that. But there is nuance to that. The same way that birth is joyful, birth is also often ugly and painful and dangerous. And I think death has two sides of its coin as well. And I think we should, you know, be a little more open-minded to when that process is coming for anyone we love, to just sort of open up to it and say, okay, I respect you for what you are. Come and show me what you do, and don't hurt anybody I love, because then I'm gonna have to step in. But yeah, I just learned a ton about death in this experience, and I'm still hanging in there, and I can't believe it, to be honest. I've said that a million times, but it's pretty obvious why I shouldn't have posted that video. And I'm glad I didn't post that video last month, because I talk all about how my dog's fine now, and, you know, he's gonna be here for a long time. And I got this urn that looks like just like him. I'm gonna take off the collar because it has personal information on it, but this is his urn. His ashes are in here. I put them in there yesterday. This is his paw print. He refused to ever have his nails cut, so unless he was at the hospital, or our vet loved cutting them, but no one else could do it, so he died with kind of long nails, but it was his big thing. And I don't know, when I hold this, it's just a piece of metal, and I know that, and I knew that when I bought it. I didn't think it was gonna, like, I didn't intend to experience something when I held this, but when I hold this, I feel something. It's weird. I don't even know what it is. I don't know what to call it. I'm still learning. I'm still going through this for the first time. But, like, I watched TV with this in my lap yesterday, and then I knew when it was time to go put it back. And I don't know, maybe he's just hanging out because it's still fresh and the wound is still open, and he's just letting me know I'm going to be okay, and then he'll go up and run around with his buddies for the rest of eternity. But that's what's been new with me. And I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are better than you were when you found my video that, you know, brought you here. I just want to share the message that even when things are really shitty, they don't stay shitty. They never stay shitty, actually. Like, even when things are the worst they have ever been, you never just stay there. There's never a place that's so far down that you never come back up. You will come back up if you're not back up already. And somehow, by some miraculous combination of events, I'm on my way back up. And I can't explain it, but I'm grateful for it. Life is never, it's never just one steady thing. Life is, for the rest of our lives, it's going to be ups and downs. But the reason that you stay on the ride is because there's ups. And even the downs are It's often super educational and worth it. So hang in there, and yeah, I really hope that you're doing well, and if not, I hope that you get to see an up pretty soon. It's coming. All right.